Pull-ups are one of those moves that either a lot of people excel at and they can build a lot of muscle with it, or some people struggle with it because they're struggling with pull-ups. And I'm gonna give you some tips today that have helped me transition from pull-ups being a struggling move to a very comfortable, powerful move that will help you put on more muscle and strength, and also maybe get rid of some aches and pains that you might be feeling along the way too. Number one, arm torque. This is kind of a universal thing I'm finding with almost all exercise, especially upper body, but especially with pull-ups. There's a tendency for us to flail the elbows out, and this is the frontal plane. So you see people and they're doing pull-ups like this a lot. Think more sagittal plane, moving this kind of way. So when you torque your arms in, see my elbow is now pointing this way, not so much that way. So you want to feel like, even if you're on a fairly wide grip, that you're trying to pull your arms more up and down in front of you rather to the side of you. This is going to take care of some of that nagging tendonitis that can come up in the wrist, and it's going to bring more overall tension to your biceps and your back by torquing the arms in. So practice like just hanging, torque the arms in, let them go, torque them in, let them go, torque them in, let them go, and that'll train you what that's going to feel like with your pull-ups. And again, it doesn't matter what the grip is, this motion should be present with all of your pull-ups. Number two, rear shoulder tension. A lot of people are very elbow dominant with their pull-ups. This is their primary thing that they're thinking about. This is also why sometimes when people do pull-ups, they only get so high, and they're here, and their elbow still way in front. You got this big, huge gap between the arm and the ribs. You want to really make them focus on the shoulders, pulling the arm down and back. Practices with like bands, cables, if you're at a gym, suspension straps work this too, just pulling straight down. This is essentially the pull-up motion that you want to have without your elbow involved. Is the arm goes up and the arm goes all the way down. So your shoulder and all of the muscles right immediately behind your shoulder should really be turned on, but unfortunately people have trouble engaging it. So practice this move as a warm-up or just once or twice a week to get that motion down and train your muscles. Hey, this is the main joint that you use. The elbow is secondary. Inward tension. This is kind of a mental thing. Muscle tension, again, is controlled by your brain, not by apparatuses or exercises and stuff. So a lot of times pull-ups have this connotation of like width to them. And you see people and they're trying to expand outwards. You want to actually do the opposite, because when you're moving your body through space, all tension has to come inwards towards your center line. And if you're trying to shoot tension out that way, you're going the wrong way. Turn everything in. If you look at a muscle diagram of the back, all tension goes in towards the spine. So feel like with this tension, with this torque and everything, you're driving all the tension inwards. You're trying to make yourself as thin as possible, or as narrow as possible, rather. Employ isometrics at the end of your set. Pull-ups are one of those moves where people feel like they're at the end of their rope and they can't do anymore real fast. They do like 8 and they just drop down. Stay on it. Once you get to that 8th rep or 10th rep or whatever like that, stay on it, stay bent a little bit and try and hold on for a good 5 or 6 seconds, because that tension still counts. You can still further fatigue the muscles and therefore stimulate a little bit more muscle growth. Even if you're not moving, it's still going to be beneficial to you. It might be enough to tip that scale just enough to trigger the muscle growth. Again, tight grip. I had a guy once told me you can't do pull-ups without wrist straps, because I don't know what his reasoning was. But the bottom line is your grip shouldn't be at all a factor with your pull-ups. You should be able to hang on for 3 to 4 times longer than you can potentially do the pull-up motion for. So if your grip is a weak link, get on those towel hangs, get on exercises that are going to challenge your grip so that the grip isn't a factor, because once this goes, everything goes. And then finally, keep your legs stiff. A lot of times people, legs moving around and flailing around and things like that. Your legs and your lower body should be just as tight as the rest of your body. So keep yourself nice and stiff as you're doing your pull-ups. It will make you tighter as later, as they say, so you can get a little bit higher and get some more of that time under tension. So there are my tips for building muscle with pull-ups. Let me know if you have questions below. Be fit, live free.